Friday. We're not going to play the Friday song like we did last week. We don't get in trouble from YouTube again. But it's here. We made it through another week. Yourself a pat on the back. Barney, Shynkaruk, Colson, the Sheriff, Allen, and then co-hosting with me today, you're going to hear from him in moments, Greg McCulloch from the Piffles Podcast. We're going to run down a busy weekend and a busy night hockey-wise in and around Saskatchewan. Keeping it local there. Farhan Lalji from TSN in hour one in about 10 minutes' time. Also in hour one, freshly off his retirement announcement, Jamal Morrow will join us. Hour two, we will talk to legendary rider players Scott Schultz. You never know where that conversation is going to go. It's always awesome. And then Prairie Junior Hockey League final, South final, starts tomorrow. Regina Capitals and Fort Knox. Jack Bechard from the Regina Capitals will step in, give us his thoughts on the series. Hour three, senior hockey report. Dave Thomas talks with Connor Klassen, offensive lineman from the University of Regina. His hometown is Big River. He's getting ready for the Combine. So a lot to get to today. Like I said, Greg from Piffles Podcast is in riding shotgun. 936-6262, the Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals since 1986. Get to deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street. It's been a while since you've been in. You've been busy, though, chasing kids.
Chasing kids around, running around. Good, you guys got some wiggle room to get me in here.
So we have the hockey player and then cheer, right?
Yep. March sucks.
Which is the busier one?
Right now, because the boys only in U11C, it's not too crazy. Cheer is just, once competition season hits, it's wild. It's too much bows, too much makeup, too much hairspray.
So, dads, parents in cheer, anything like hockey parents? Like, do you kind of drop your kids off, get them ready, and then like go find a pint? And then watch, and then get, maybe crazy in the stands? That's
where Best of the West is probably one of the favorite competition, especially for the dads, because it's licensed. So okay. It's held in Moose Jaw. It's at the old Moose Jaw Center, Civic Center, whatever they call it now.
Temple Gardens Center?
Is that, did they name it again?
Freshly named.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one, pulled up Lucky Bastard Iced Tea there to watch the cheer this year, so...
And then yelling, like lots of yelling?
Not so much in the Saskatchewan one, but last year the daughter made nationals, and those level 7 open teams where you've got the 18, 20-year-olds, their parents were almost fist fighting the security guards because they were standing in places they shouldn't been, and it was wild.
But no parents fighting each other like crazy hockey parents. Like there's been a few in Regina over the last couple weeks here at female hockey games where there's been some knuckles.
Well, I don't know if you heard what happened in Dallas a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was apparently started by 2 drunk dads over a plate of nachos.
No way.
In Dallas, supposedly, yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
And they're packing down there.
Well, apparently gunshots were not fired. Supposedly the story now is it was some pipes that fell that sounded like gunshots, which... Okay.
The old pipe falling story.
Sounds like a gunshot. Yeah. Cheer TikTok was wild on that one. Just go check it out.
What do you know about a gunshot? I think it was a pipe. I think that's what it was. Locally today, Kate, we started with this yesterday. Like I said, Farhan Lalji is coming up. I don't know if you've been keeping close tabs on the Western Hockey League. Obviously, the Pats and Moose Jaw Warriors aren't making the postseason.
I saw that game the other night, and obviously they were not making, yes.
Yeah, young, they'll be back around. But what's going on? I don't know if we got the updated standings, fellas, but tonight in the Western Hockey League, and our Western Hockey League reports are always for extreme hockey and sport in Regina, hence in sport, because now they're dealing in baseball, lacrosse. They got the baseball team kits, anything you need for your team as far as jerseys and stuff. They also got umbrella marketing there. The local store, Extreme Hockey and Sport. The standings, so tonight on the Eastern Conference front, I'll explain it to people on the radio just so you know. We have Pats, they're home to Swift tomorrow, so they're not playing tonight. Brandon is hosting Moose Jaw. It is monumental for Brandon, those 2 points. Saskatoon is in Swift. Now, those 2 points for Saskatoon are huge. For Swift, they clinch. I think from how I read it, any point there, and I could be wrong, Swift clinches a playoff spot. So Saskatoon and Brandon are battling. And then PA is in Red Deer. And Red Deer is holding on for dear life. Because if any kind of point from Swift, if they stumble, then Swift gets the final spot. So all the Saskatchewan teams minus the Pats and Moose Jaw Warriors, it is huge tonight for them in the Western Hockey League. We'll keep you updated here. Also, another interesting note in the Western Hockey League tonight, Medicine Hat is in Lethbridge. Is that a preview of some sort of the Eastern Conference Final? I don't know. Okay, so you're originally from Moosomin.
Correct.
Live in Regina.
Yes.
If you were going to back a Western Hockey League team, cheer for,
I grew up a Vikings fan.
Okay, I was going to say, is Brandon the closest?
Oh, yeah. Like Redden, Schaefer,
Tutu.
Smart. Tutu was after my time, but yes, I guess. Byron Penstock. Like, I can name all those early.
Dingman?
Chris Dingman? Oh, yeah, Dinger. Love the Dinger.
What an organization, Brandon. Like, when you think about it, what they, McCrimmon was amazing, but I think even pre-McCrimmon, they've never. The thing with Brandon, they've never been bad for like 3 years. They always, and it's kind of Seattle's doing that now a bit, where it's like, well, they're not that bad. Maybe they're bad for 1 year. But Brandon has been such a good organization for so long. And it's not I'm not going to say the sexiest place to play. It's just a different, because your nearest road trip to play a game is Regina.
No, yeah.
They used to, like, that Winnipeg.
That Winnipeg one wasn't bad. But they didn't have that for, like, when I grew up. Brandon was the furthest east team.
When we talked to Redden on the Monday Nooner on the podcast and interviewed him, like, he talked about those bus trips. And, yeah, they're nasty because there's so many of them. It's like Prince George, like, they're stuck in the middle of nowhere as well. But he said there was just so much bonding done on those trips, which obviously there always is. And he was just like, yeah, we just became such a good team and close-knit team. And I'm like, so did you go to quite a few games?
As many as we could, yeah. My dad would take us to quite a few games, yeah.
Any memorable ones that stand out?
Games, no. Experiences, yes. Saw someone get jumped for the first time in the mean streets of Brandon after. But,
oh, yeah?
But, yeah, no, it was always... Yeah, I'll never forget that one. Just all of a sudden, what's going on? You're from a small town. You don't expect that. But... yeah, just going to those games, like I said, like Byron Penstock, Schaefer, Redden, like those were the guys I grew up on watching.
Schaefer was so good.
Sven Budenshaw, I'll never forget. Like my favorite hockey team is the Penguins, and Sven Budenshaw drafted by the Penguins, and then 2010 he's still playing for the German Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, and what year did they host? They hosted the Memorial Cup.
Yep.
And that I was in that rink for the first time, I don't know, 3-4 years ago with the boy. Went there, never been in it. And I was like, this would actually be awesome packed.
It's a fun rink. Like, they've done a bunch of upgrades since the last time I've been there, obviously. But the worst part about the Wheat Kings is they're always good and they're always consistent, but they just never get over that hump. They just can't seem to win the big one.
Always in that middle.
Yeah.
That middle thing. Yeah, so huge points tonight in the Western Hockey League. SJHL. This one's, I'm sure people are already pre-gaming in Melville. It's the Highway 10 Parks Cup, Yorkton, Melville. These two teams, they play again tomorrow in Yorkton. And as Benny Walchuk tweeted out, and then we retweeted it from the Nooner today, if they play in the first round, this could be the start of 9 in a row between Melville and Yorkton. Those two towns, there's the rivalry.
They don't like each other.
The rivalry is solid. 9 games in a it's like Summit Series-ish.
2 games in a row is too many between those two teams.
Yeah, there'll be families that are breaking up and marriages, and so that goes tonight. The first one in Melville. Our SJHL reports are always for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southeast Saskatchewan. worth the drive every time guaranteed right now. $2,000 off to $16,000 off on remaining 2024 inventory. Elsewhere, Estevan Weyburn. There's rivalry right there. Humboldt's in Nipawin. Battleford's welcomes Kindersley, Flin Flons in LA, and Notre Dame at the Northern Lights Palace in Melville. AAA midget tonight. Pat Canadians looking to go up 2-0 on the Saskatoon Blazers. It was 5-2 in game one. I heard it was actually a closer game than that. At the Rod Ham Memorial Arena. It says 7:30. I thought that was an 8 o'clock puck drop. I was probably wrong. But anything starting earlier on the west side is always good in Saskatoon as well. So that's 7:30. And then the other series gets going as well tonight. Swift Current at the Temple Gardens Center.
Wow.
In Moose Jaw. 7 o'clock there. Senior last night. We got to give a shout out to Mooseman here. Although they're down 2-0 to Redvers. Is that a rivalry?
It was when I played in the old Moose Mountain League. Redvers, we didn't play Redvers much in the Big Six. Well, the Redvers wasn't in the Big Six back then. Wawota Mooseman was the rivalry for me growing up.
The word on the street, like Josh Miller, the hockey insider like Elliot Freeman, and he kind of says like Mooseman, they play well at home.
Yep.
As soon as they go on the road, they kind of go with a little skeleton crew. Has that always kind of been a Mooseman thing, or?
No, never really was. But like I actually texted you the other day about the provincials. Typical Mooseman provincial hockey. You do well in their barn and blow it at home, just to go back to their barn to win it. Mooseman never used to. We never had trouble traveling back in the day. Why they're having that issue now, I don't know.
Provincial B Mooseman's playing Sunday against Davidson. That's the Provincial B final.
Yep.
Are you going to that? Dropping the puck or anything? Do they got red carpet?
I don't know if I'm persona non grata there anymore. I don't know anymore.
2 p.m. And that one, it's classic Sasky. Two small towns that couldn't agree, from what I understand, allegedly, couldn't agree on when to play the games. So there was a bit of a battle. No, you know, you played the provincials, and it starts at the young age too. Well, no, we can't come that night. And it's like, well, because, you know, Jimmy's got something going on or whatever. No. So you try and build it around, obviously, your better players. Sask Hockey, allegedly, almost had to step in.
Doesn't surprise me. We had the same situation, actually, speaking to Redvers, for Redvers provincials, when I played back in the day. And same idea. Couldn't get it. And then Redvers no-showed, and it was a fun fight.
Redvers no-showed?
Oh, yeah. We can't make it that day. And just no-showed.
So they threw the game?
I can't remember how it ended up working out, but we're not coming now. Thought we had an agreement. Didn't show up. That was the end of it.
That'd be a flex. So we'll run down more on the senior hockey front with the Monday Nooner podcast, guys, later in hour 3. Riders news. They signed Nebraska defensive back Phelan Sanford. Now, we were kind of looking at this press release. 5'11", 195 pounds. Signed with the Las Vegas Raiders as an undrafted free agent following the 2024 NFL draft. Spent training camp with the team, showing a knack for being around the ball. He recovered a blocked punt, ran it back 42 yards in a preseason game against Minnesota, and then on August 10th, recovered a second fumble against the San Francisco 49ers. That was actually August 23rd. This guy seems like just a bit of a grinder and a baller, but then I keep reading. He spent 5 years at Nebraska, suiting up for 40 games as a Cornhusker. He was a walk-on in 2019. So anytime I think, hey, just me, you have a walk-on in any sport, and then they end up excelling and playing 4 years, and then they go and get a sniff of pro and all that, sign the guy.
Actually, my favorite rider that never became a rider, Louis Perez, quarterback. He's actually in the new XFL or UFL, whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
He was on the riders' negotiation list. Same idea. He was a walk-on, and then he got a sniff of the NFL, and he was on the riders' negotiation list.
Yeah, like this guy's a grinder right away. Like if this is his resume, he's coming into your place of work and you're hiring, and you just see the grindy stuff that kids do. It's like, yeah, I'm hiring this guy.
it shows he's going to come in and work every day. He's going to bust his butt for the team. And yeah, so hopefully he can prove it in training camp.
He hasn't had it given to him.
No.
Exactly. And then he was Hastings before Nebraska, freshman at Hastings College.
Track star.
He was a track star. Mm-hmm. Multi-sport guy as well. So let's see what he does. Defensive back, Phelan Sanford. The Riders sign him. And he did some stuff in preseason last year with the Raiders. Interesting stuff. Piffles Podcast, you guys had Luke Mullender on.
We did.
Last episode. Take us through that journey. 2 episodes ago. Take us through that journey.
Luke's awesome. Like a little more laid back. He was making fun of us how late we record because it's past his bedtime. But so we went early for the big guy. Talked about potlucks and his love for Hawaiian pizza.
I can't wait to get into that more. It is the Sports Cage. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk to Farhan Lalji from TSN. We are streaming at sportscage.com on X, and as always, in 620 CKRM. Right out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Like you said, Farhan is joining us. Lalji. Farhan, let's start with the Canucks. As we sit here March 14th, after that game against the Calgary Flames, more confident, less confidence down the middle on if these guys are making the postseason?
Well, you can't be less confident than you were a couple of days ago, right? I mean, this team had lost 2 straight, including a big game against Montreal going into the back-to-back against Calgary. So just there wasn't a lot going on for this team, especially offensively. And it's not like they exploded, right? I mean, there was still 3 goals in regulation against Calgary. But I think people here are buoyed by the fact that for the first time all season, they had a third-period comeback. They were the only team in the NHL that didn't have a comeback when trailing a game going into the third period. So that changed. So that's a positive for them. But just the way they played in the third period, right? I mean, I think the shots at one point in that third were 16-1. They finished 17-4. Calgary was lucky that Vancouver didn't win in regulation. They dominated the overtime. And to get Quinn Hughes playing the way he was, and now Elias Pettersson, as you mentioned, down the middle, he scores the goal to tie the game, scores the shootout winner, and now he's at goals in 3 of his last 4. I mean, he's not back to peak Pettersson, but this is the best he's played in 13 months. So it's all good stuff right now.
You look at St. Louis's schedule down the stretch here, and most experts would say it's probably the easier. When you look at the Canucks schedule, medium, is it difficult? What do you think?
No, I mean, it's still pretty difficult, but they do play a lot of the teams around them. But they've got more games against Dallas. They've got games against Vegas. So they've got, I think, 5 games remaining against teams well above them in the standings, along with getting the games in against those teams right around them. So, you have to believe that Vancouver, Calgary, Utah, and St. Louis, who are all separated by 2 points, whichever team gets in has to be playing well to get in, right? Like someone's going to have to go 12-6 or 11-6 in their remaining games here to get in, which means they'll be playing pretty good when they finally get there.
So what's going to get Vancouver to there? Like, everyone's waiting. Everyone thought after the trade and the dramas out of the dressing room, this team was going to turn it around, and it just never came.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that needs to happen is Elias Pettersson's got to keep this up, right? And again, this is not to say he's as good as he was, 2 Decembers ago, right? December of 2023. But again, this is the best we've seen of him for a while, and now he's good again. He's not elite again, but he's good again, whereas before he was just replacement level. So, you can't go to a team that had 2 years ago peak Pettersson, peak JT Miller, and a pretty good Bo Horvat. And then even going into last year's playoffs, you don't have Horvat, but you've got Elias Lindholm to what they've got, which was no centers with Miller gone and Pettersson playing like garbage, right? So it's got to be Pettersson playing at that level, providing some scoring, controlling shot attempts when he's on the ice, and making the players on his line better. If he can do that, this team has got a chance. Without it, this team will continue to struggle offensively.
I know you don't cover the other teams, but you watch enough, and you've been watching the Canucks and who they play. In that Western Conference, Edmonton, Oiler fans, I get it. It's a real, like I say, a noodle scratcher there. Out of the West, although Dallas loads up, Colorado gets some pieces, Vegas is always Vegas. What are you seeing with down the stretch here in the West?
Quite honestly, Barney, I'm seeing a lot of average play, right? Like, I mean, if you look at a bunch of these teams since January 1st, they're not separated by a lot. You take Edmonton and Los Angeles and put them in the group with the 4 teams trying to get into the playoffs, and I think there's one other in that mix that, they're kind of playing 500 to 550 hockey. So some of these teams can get got, right? And when you look at Edmonton, you look at a team whose best players, like Leon Draisaitl's playing really well. But after that, no one's been great. Like, truly, they haven't. I mean, maybe Darnell Nurse has been a bit better, but when you look at their roster, McDavid's not playing as well. Bouchard and Ekholm are not playing as well. Zach Hyman's not playing as well. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is not playing as well. There's just a bunch of these guys that just aren't having great seasons. The goaltending is what it's always been, where you just kind of hold your breath a little bit and hope it gets there. But Edmonton is a team that, at the beginning of the year, we thought this team was primed to win the Cup. They could get eliminated in the first round. So you're seeing a lot of teams that could just go in any direction over the course of the next 5 weeks here before the playoffs start.
That's what, and like you said, they could be primed for the picking, because all these teams that are trying to get in are basically playing playoff hockey. We see it all the time in the NHL, where they get in and then they just keep rolling. So it'll be real interesting. CFL Combine here next week. What's your take on the Combine?
Yeah, a little bit interesting. They've now kind of gone to a format where they've not done as much in the way of the regional combines running up to the big one, right? So, we used to have the invitational combine, and then that propelled you to the national one, for the final few selections. Then they went to the 3 regions. Now they've gone back to 1 leading into the second. So, I think they feel pretty good about the players they've got there. I wish Taylor Elgersma was throwing, right? I wish Curtis Rourke was throwing, but they're not, right? I mean, they've got their designs on other things, and I think from their perspective, there's nothing to be gained by throwing at this combine. So we'll see what some of the other quarterbacks look and whether they can bring the best out in some of these players. But offensive line class is supposed to be better than it's been in a while. There's supposed to be some high-end players on defense that I'm looking forward to seeing. Jackson Finley from Western, he's a guy who's, in the top 10. He could certainly rise as we go here. But just the event itself, it really is a pretty good showcase, because having covered the Combine for the last, 12, 15 years, the level of play, the level of testing result, just what you see there is really, really high end. And you also have got them kind of changing where they've kind of found the sweet spot. It was really quick before. Then it went to 5 days, which was a bit too much. Now they've kind of found a spot in the middle where I think you can get the best out of everybody. So it's a pretty good showcase and a good chance to see a bunch of people around the league again.
Well, you just called it a showcase. There's a bit of a debate going whether or not this should be open to the public. Some rider season ticket holders.
I think it should.
I think so too. There's some rider season ticket holders that will be available to go. But
are they letting Barney? Barney, are they letting you in? I know you cause nothing but problems.
I'm hoping to go in and kick. Okay. The roof's not very high, so I can blame it on that.
I would. You mentioned Luke Mullender. I would prefer that you go in and do one-on-ones against Luke.
Yeah, maybe at the buffet.
I want to see them do a 40 against each other. See who wins that one.
That would be good.
Achilles, done.
But anyway, back to the question. So if the CFL, the biggest thing is they're losing fans, wouldn't this not be another opportunity to showcase the young talent coming in? Because let's face it, no one watches as much CIS football or U Sports football as they should, because it's good football.
Yeah, I know it is, but the league tried to create a bit of a festival before, right? And they've kind of gotten away from that a little bit since COVID. I'd like to see them go back there, where they have the CFL car wash, where all the top players come in and do interviews and things like that are available to the media, and then all the league meetings. Yes, we've got some rule committee meetings happening here, but not every level of executive is in to meet, right? So when they tried to dress that up before and kind of make it the league's secondary event, when you look at, in the NFL, the Combine is such a big thing and the draft is such a big thing. And those are showcase events that have value. And I think it was trending in that direction. Certainly there's a cost to it, but, you find ways to increase revenue and bring additional sponsorship to that event. So I think they should let fans in, and I hope they eventually trend back to combining a bunch of things together and creating a CFL, football palooza in the off season by doing that again.
Well, those first 2 CFL weeks were amazing for both getting buzz for the league and for fan access. In Regina and Winnipeg, I was at both of those. Those were great.
I think they should allow kids.
Yeah,
for sure.
The amount of just media traffic and the amount of stories that were written from those events were really good. And sometimes it takes away from the prospects to have all the key players around. But, if you can get more media there, everybody's going to wind up getting some shine, right? So, I agree with you. I think those first 2 CFL weeks were really good. You can't put them in every market. We know there's certain markets where the CFL conversation lasts 8 months and some that it lasts 12 months. And, Regina and Winnipeg are certainly 2 of those where it does last 12 months.
Are you coming?
I'm going to be here. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be I'm in Stanford. I'm going to do a feature on Alec Iomanor ahead of the draft, the Medicine Hat receiver that was playing for them. So we're going to be at their pro day, and then I will fly in on the 20th, and we'll be there for 3 nights. So it should be fun.
Well, maybe I can get you to run some post flags for me, and I'll throw them. I'll drop them into the bucket.
I think I should come in studio to do the show next week.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Doors are always open. Literally. Always open because our temperature controls.
I'm only coming if there's Western pizza.
We can make
and I get to order. I get to place the order.
Well, geez, this is demanding.
Well, I'm just thinking if I can get in the door, he can get in the door.
Yeah.
Colston just had me on hold for 10 minutes. For that, I'm allowed to order the pizza.
Oh, poor Colson.
I love Colson. He's a good man. You got him running around everywhere.
Weekly question. Have you heard anything about the commissioner of the league?
They're getting to the late stages of interviews, is what I've been told. So they are in that process. They've kind of filtered some things out and are deeper into it in the last couple of weeks. It has the process has picked up. I don't have names for you, but I do know we're getting closer to the finish line.
Okay, 2 NFL ones. First, you can ask yours to finish it off, but who's going to throw the football in Pittsburgh?
Wow. I think it's going to be Russell Wilson again.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You look at Aaron Rodgers, and he's got the best offer available to him from the Giants. But the best offensive pieces along the offensive line and at receiver around him now in Pittsburgh, and he's still waiting to see if there's a window there to go in for a year in Minnesota. And I know that Russell's also considering the Browns. I think he was there meeting yesterday, and he's considering the Giants as well. But I don't know. I mean, these are just gut feelings, not insider thoughts. But I think Russell will be back, and we're probably going to wind up seeing Aaron Rodgers stay in New York, just playing for the other team.
Actually, mine's a CFL question. Alexander Hollins won his appeal today. Does this mean?
Yeah.
Will this lay the path for him to return back to BC this season, or what do you think?
I doubt it because that was an appeal, a complaint through the union and things like that based on the signing bonus that was due and what his knee injury, right? So I know the Lions weren't necessarily thinking that was a significant thing, and the procedure he had was getting fluid drained, right? Like it wasn't surgery per se, but. I don't think he's going to be back in BC, but I do think there's a life for him, and I'm surprised he hasn't been signed yet. I mean, he might be one of those guys who just winds up getting signed early in the season once there's an injury or somebody's not happy with their receivers. But I do think we'll see Hollins playing this year, but not in BC.
All right. Next week in studio, Colson will be here. He'll have roses. He apologizes again for making you wait.
He doesn't need roses. Just beer and a pizza is good. Okay. Come on. There's no need for roses.
Couple pints. Bring your cleats. We'll do some stuff out on the turf. Okay, thanks, Farhan. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Farhan Lalji from TSN. Brought to you by the Cooperators. They can build a plan that works for you. Get financially fit. Cooperators. Invest in your future together. Yeah, the opening to the public. First off, the sight lines and the seating in that place aren't very good.
No, they're not.
Have you ever had kids in soccer sitting on those?
Not in there, but yeah.
On those metal bleachers where it's like you wake up and your arse is numb after a while. But
I was at the first CFL week, so
you can stand up top is the best.
Yeah,
if they allow that.
But it's funny because he's talking about how it was great for the media. That second CFL week, the Piffles booth in the car wash was right beside the TSN one. I have nightmares to this day of Farhan talking about Johnny Manziel, because that's all I could hear him and Naylor doing, talking about is Manziel coming up to the CFL.
Yeah, it's coming. It'll be interesting week here in the Queen City. Let's go to break. It's the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com, on X, and on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. It is for Nelson Holmes on this Friday. It's Barney Shynkaruk, Greg McCulloch from the Piffles Podcast, Colson and the Sheriff. Going to run down the local night and sports coming up in a bit here in hour one. But let's go back out. Friday, Western Pizza ribs, maybe a salad, souvlaki, za.
Ooh, souvlaki.
Dry ribs. I'm a big dry rib guy. I figured that out. It's probably not the best thing to eat all the time.
Dry rib Caesar salad. That's the play.
Yeah. No one's judging in this building. It's awesome. Western Pizza guest hotline announced his retirement yesterday. We caught wind of it. He's joining us. If you're watching the stream, you'll see him. Jamal Morrow. Jamal, thanks for coming on in short notice.
Oh man, thanks. I mean, I got the message, and first of all, let me say something. The dry ribs and the Caesar salad is a play. You can't go wrong with that. You can't.
Atta boy, you're my kind of guy. Where are you right now?
I'm down in Southern California right now. So out here, and I've been doing a little teaching thing, and we got some exciting news coming up next week. So yeah, I've been good. Right.
Well, you're in Southern California and you're dressed up like you're in Saskatchewan, like you're up in Big Bear. Are you skiing? Or
well, you know what they say. Look, they say it never rains in Southern California, but it is right now. And so you start raining out here. Everybody starts dressing up like it's 30 below.
Why the decision?
For me, it was this time. There was the way I felt, and for me trying to get out there and getting back to training, and a lot of it was to do with this how my wrist was feeling. You know, it wasn't when I was. It still was iffy, and so I didn't feel, training and going out there, and I just didn't have the drive to train no more. And so I think with football, you got to be able to go all in. You just can't have one leg in, one leg out, or that's how you play. And so for me, it was a time and a perfect transition in my life, and so other opportunities popped up, and so that's kind of the main reason why. And I'm super excited. I've had a great career, no regrets at all, and so yeah, I'm super excited.
Because my next question is going to be like, why not just maybe ride it out, see what happens? Because you're still 30. You're not old, but yeah. So there's some other things in your life that you feel this is the right time.
Yes, 100%. It was football. Like, for me, like a lot of it is people want to. It's not a forgiving sport. I mean, sometimes a lot of people, they go and go and go and just never get it. And so my point was like, I want to go out on my own terms. And so at least I know I went out on my own terms, like not reaching out to a team or anything like that. It was just, for me, it was like, I want to be done. I love the game so much. I gave it all my had, and I don't want to go and have be waiting and just have one leg in, one leg out. So that was the ultimate reason why. And yeah, I was grateful for the sport, and it was awesome ride, and like I said, no regrets at all.
So you went to Washington from California. Went to Washington State. Had a look in the NFL. The Orlando Apollos, also of the UFL at the time, I think it was?
Yeah, it was the AAF.
Yeah, AAF, right. Sorry, there's so many spring football leagues, I never know which one I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah, but I know, right?
You get the call, Saskatchewan, the CFL. Are you like looking up a map, pulling out an atlas? What are you doing?
No, 100%. I was like, first of all, I couldn't even say it right. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I say this. I look up on the map. I'm like, okay, Regina. And I think they had, first of all, my first thing was like, I thought it was Regina, Yep. I was Regina. Like, I remember I was going to the airport and the lady says, yeah, I'm looking for Regina. And she goes, oh, no, you mean Regina. And that's when it was like, I actually knew what the city was called. I said, okay, perfect. And, but yeah, I looked it up and I seen skyscrapers. And I'm like, okay, like this is going to be a pretty big city. I mean, at least like, even from what it looks like. I get there, I'm like, oh, this is very small. Like, this is fair. All right, we're good. Because that's how I Washington. It was an easy transition coming from Washington State to going to Regina.
How would you and how have you explained Regina, Saskatchewan, and the CFL to people down there?
Man, I don't. How can I call it? Like, I call it like the prairie. So I always call it like the Kansas of Canada. That's how I describe it. Prairies, a little more. I don't know. That's how I describe it. But like I always say, like, the people there were absolutely beautiful. I love the people there. It was a great time. They showed a lot of love, passionate, very prideful people. So that's what I always say. And especially, in the CFL, I said that was the best place to play football. I mean, being there for so long, it was literally the best place to play. And so, yeah, that's what I literally always say right there.
Take us through your first CFL touchdown and your memories of that.
That was the Calgary playoff game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was special. I mean, because we had the kick with the missed field goal called back. So I finally got that one. I'm okay. If they get the first one, we call it back, whatever. But I'm feeling good. And so, I remember this playoffs. I'm feeling good. The ball, and right now, I didn't think I was going to break it, but like I just ran, let me get 5-10 yards. I bounced off the tackle. I'm like, oh, wait. Let's go. And next thing you know, I look at the end zone. I'm thinking in my head, we finally got it. We finally got it. It's the playoff, like it's a big game. Like I was getting so close to the previous games, but man, it was special, man. And especially being in that environment, home playoff game, it was special. And so I'll never forget that one, and just hearing the crowd, man, it was awesome. And I'll never forget, I remember, I looked over, I seen Willie P right there, sprinting all the way down, and it was great. It was amazing.
Did you keep the ball?
Oh, 100%. I still have it. Still hanging up in the house. Like, yeah, it's not going nowhere. That's forever.
That's right.
What is it about Washington State running backs and the Saskatchewan Roughriders? There's you, and of course George Reed. Did they talk about, when you were at Washington State, did they mention George Reed and his tie to the Riders, or is this something you learned when you got here, and how important he was to the franchise?
I learned it when I got up there. I've seen George Reed because he was on our wall. And there was another Saskatchewan kid that was at Washington State. God, I'm bad at this. What was his name? I can't think of it. But anyways, it was cool. And I never forget my first season up there, even before I even played, I got to meet George Reed. And I remember J.O. he pulled up and said, hey, George Reed, he's a Washington State alum, and he's a legend here. And after that, I kind of looked into it, and it was awesome to meet him and chop it up with him and to see how important he was to the Saskatchewan and just the CFL in general. And so it was a pretty neat deal.
It's funny that you brought that up because I'm like, who did we just interview last year? That was Washington State. It was coach, now back with Edmonton, J.C. Sherritt.
Ah, yes.
So he's back with Edmonton now. All right. So do you want to tease us a little bit on these big plans that are coming down? Can you give us anything?
I mean, let's just bring some.
Oh, you cut out there. What? That was actually a perfect time. Maybe you could have just spilt the whole beans, but you cut out.
That's it. That was it.
that's all we get.
Yeah. What a play. That's awesome. Just give us a little nibble. What's in it?
Yeah, we'll be coaching. We'll still be involved with football. So put it like that. And so the places, I'm super excited. Not the CFL, unfortunately, but we'll be coaching. Maybe someday. We'll see you. Up here. I'm not writing it off. Writing it off.
You know what? So many people. You weren't here for a long time. So many people talk about just how charismatic you were, how you were just a great guy, great teammate, obviously, and all the best. And again, thanks so much for taking the time today on this rainy, cold day in Southern California.
Man, I appreciate you guys are warming me up. I needed this.
Right on, Jamal. Take care.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me. Y'all take care.
Right on. Former Saskatchewan Roughrider announcing his retirement yesterday, Jamal Morrow. You get a sense of what he's all about right there. What a great guy.
He's a great dude. Although I would like to point out he was wearing a Red Blacks hoodie. If you didn't notice that as he put his camera down.
I saw the top.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, could be Red Blacks, could be one of those spring leagues.
No.
The 30 spring leagues that are going on in the. Yeah, no.
I can't fault the guy. That's where he last played. So,
yeah. Hey, it's all good. Took some time with us today. Nice to chat with him. Take a break. We'll come back. It's a busy night in and around Saskatchewan. If you're taking in any of these hockey contests, we'll run them down. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKR. I like the music. Is that such a wrong thing, Alan? That I want to hear the rock and roll guitar? It's Barney Shynkaruk, hour 2 of the Sports Cage. Greg from the Piffles Podcast is with us. Colson and Alan, the sheriff. Hey, we got Pat tickets to give away. Alan, just to give me a heads up. Farmer Appreciation Night and Tailgate Party, March 18th. That's Tuesday. That's the day after St. Patrick's Day. But the thing about this one is Canada's Farm Show is on. So thank you to the Canada's Farm Show and Thunderstruck Ag Equipment for doing this. They said, hey, you guys take 2 tickets. The beauty about this, the 2 tickets to that game, Pats Broncos, there's a pregame party that starts at 4 p.m. And if you've ever been to the farm show, there's going to be guys getting after it. Yeah, and girls.
Farm tailgate.
At 4 p.m. And then there's an AC/DC cover band. Nothing can be wrong about that. They're called Hell and Back AC/DC cover. So if you want to go to that Pats game, the tickets also get you into the pregame party. I told Sharky, I said, we got to go. We have to go. I'm a sucker for cover bands. What? Is there anything wrong with it? You don't like a nice cover band?
I don't mind the occasional. Like, I don't mind bands that do covers, but to do a full set of someone else's just seems so.
There's that Hip Experience. They're coming back to Regina. Obviously, tragically Hip. They were so good. I think I told this story on this program before. I sat with my back to the. It was at the tavern. My back to the band. I probably looked like an absolute pidge, but it's just because it sounded so much like the Hip, and I was just trying to. And I never saw the Hip live, so they were great.
I've seen the Hip live, so I guess I would have to compare it, but you need the right singer. If the singer can't emulate who they're trying to be, it's difficult.
See, I think that's the tough thing, because when you try to be as erratic, what's the word I'm looking for, as Gord Downey, and he does, he tries to do it. Yeah. So you're saying you can't like pretend to be
even performance wise. I can get it. You got to sound like if you're not hitting the Gord Downey tenor, and you're not in the right vocal range, and you're singing like 5 octaves higher than where Gord was. Who cares if the band's any good? But.
Well, yeah, you gotta know your role. Like, you can't go and do Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Because you'll look weird. 936-6262. If you want to win those Pats tickets, just text in, say win the tickets. Alan will cover that. Is that good, Alan? Is that good enough? What do you want them to say? Alan says you'd like to know your favorite cover band.
Sure, that is a great idea, Barney.
Or just say I want to win tickets.
Either or. I'm happy with either or.
Ed texted in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals since 1986. You get to deal with the owner, anything you need to rent. And we got a game day. Yeah, today. Rebels at Gold Wings. The Harry O Memorial in Mydale, Saskatchewan. As soon as you think Mydale, who do you think? Come on, the Johnner brothers. 10 more miles?
Nope, can't do it.
Saturday night?
I know who they are.
My brother and me.
I don't think of Mydale.
Mydale Sask.
For some reason, I always put them in Estevan. Close enough, I guess. Unless you're from Mydale, then no, you're mad.
It's just down the road. Like, it's literally just down the road. So anyways, big game tonight. It's the U18 AA South Final. Rebels Gold Wings. 7 o'clock at the Harry O. 7 o'clock. I'd say that's an early start time. In Midale, they might be playing little games there. Get them to come out of Regina a little early.
Roads are slick, you're playing the games. That's what happens in these Saskatchewan hockey. You play the games.
They got nothing but ice time after that game. And don't tell me there's just some rec team itching to play on March 14th. It's almost break or shut in season at the Harry O. So, but hey, go check it out if you're in the area. Brad Johnner, the Johnner brothers. Miss them. Telemiracle days. Paul texted in, says he likes you. So, good job. Paul's not big on compliments, so you take that.
Yeah. Well,
pocket that.
Paul, thanks, I think.
Cover bands. You got Alan, who's your favorite cover band? If you could see one band and they were a cover band and they were really good, what band would it be?
Queen, I guess.
Okay, good one.
I wouldn't mind that. Queen or Rolling Stones.
Queen or Rolling Stones. Lots of hits, lots of songs to go through. Colson, I'm coming to you next. Say the Johnner Brothers.
No, I'm pushing too many buttons right now. I have to think on that.
Well, who's one of your favorite bands?
I'm still pushing too many buttons. I can't even think. They're terrible for radio. Right?
Give me a New Radicals cover band just for the one song.
Just one.
Just because it'd be hilarious. A New Radicals cover band of a one-hit wonder.
I got a cover of Reel to Reel.
There's
There
Eric
you
Francis.
go.
Yeah, there. A Reel to Reel cover band and a Chumbawamba cover band. Opening up would be Psy. Was that Oriental guy?
Yeah, Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
He had two songs that made North America.
Paul just chimed in that the Riders sign American DB Phelan Sanford. Yeah, we had that in hour one, Paul. Got to tune in that first hour, bud. You're missing out. James. James. I like when James texts in from Lumsden. Cover band Johnner Brothers, pretty darn good. What? Come on, James. I know you wanna. You got a cover band out there that you like. Scotty up in Saskatoon. Cover band names Almost ABBA. Fraud Stewart. Nearly Neil.
I've heard of Nearly Neil. I've actually heard of Nearly Neil. Fraud Stewart's good. Fraud Stewart is amazing.
That would be good. I saw the real Rod Stewart at Caesars in Vegas with Mrs. S. Oh, this was about 12 years ago. So he was like 70. He was older already, but he had a young kid played in the WHL. Mm-hmm. This kid. You ever been to a concert at Caesars in the Coliseum?
I've never seen anything. I've stayed in Caesars, but I've never actually been to the Coliseum.
So it's like a big souped up center of the arts, right? Stage and then that. Rod Stewart, first off, my wife always tells this story. The backdrop was awesome. It was a silhouette of his head with the spiky hair, and it said, "Some guys have all the luck." And then that lifted up, and then the band, and he was behind, and it was a great show. So entertaining. Totally recommend it. He doesn't play that song all night. My wife and I, at the end of the night, we're like, how drunk? First off, how drunk are we? Did he not play that song? He didn't play the song. And then his encore, he kicks, and somebody out there has been to this show. He does this all the time, I guess. He kicked soccer balls from the stage at like 78 years old or whatever he was. I don't know. How old is he now? Anybody? Alan, how old is Rod Stewart? He kicked soccer balls to the upper deck from the stage.
But it doesn't matter how old he is. He's forever young.
That's good.
According to Wikipedia, 80 years old.
80. Yeah, so that must have been 10 years ago. He would have been 70 for sure, booting balls into the, he doesn't play. Some guys have all the luck. Fraud Stewart. Obviously, for me, if you could find me a good Roxette cover band, now that Roxette, was it Marie, passed away, somebody said that they're bringing somebody back, and they're going to try and tour again, kind of do like a journey. Not that Steve Perry passed away, but I would take a good Roxette cover band or a good Kenny Chesney. That would be hard because his songs are really hard to sing with all the. I've tried to karaoke them. Oh, have I looked bad? Have I looked bad? George Strait would be nice. You gotta like George Strait.
I do like George Strait. I like my mid '90s country. Give me a little Texas. Give me. I'm there with you.
Little Texas.
Sawyer Brown. Oh yeah.
Saw Little Texas down at the Sheridan County Fair in Plentywood, Montana last year. Kick a little. No, they. What might have been. God bless Texas, obviously. Yeah. They put on a good show. Not bad. Oh, Scotty in Saskatoon saying 20 years ago caught a Metallica cover band at the Wash and Slosh on Broadway in Saskatoon. The Wash. I haven't heard that name of an establishment up there in so long. Georgie Porgy, how you doing? Third Degree Burns. Great party band, annual opener closer for the Pilot Butte Rodeo Cabaret Father's Day weekend. Yeah, 3 Degree, they're good.
I've seen a lot of Third Degree Burns.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of Wonderland.
They should collab. Get together.
That'd be a heck of a
onto
show.
something.
There we go.
Yeah. Get that in Mosaic this summer.
Probably they need concerts there. There's one that probably sell out.
Somebody was going down that rabbit hole. Is Scott coming, by the way? Okay. He's dropping his kid off at hockey. Someone was going down that rabbit hole the other day of, are we going to get a concert at Mosaic Stadium? And then you start talking and who's touring. And so first off, I don't know a lot about the industry, but if somebody is touring and they're doing arena shows, so a Sask Place, a Rogers Center, and Saddle Dome's a bad example because Saddle Dome's roof really screws with lighting. The Winnipeg, that's not a stadium setup.
No.
So then it's kind of got to be like these one-offs, and then, well, first off, who can sell that barn or that stadium out?
But also, I hate to say it, if you look at the Riders' schedule, it's obvious that we don't have one coming because we're pretty much home game, away game, home game, away game, home game, away game all season. There's not enough time to...
Yeah, I didn't even look at that deep.
The Riders have a very good schedule for football. It's a bad schedule for hoping a stadium show comes in this year.
Just a quick Tuesday night, Fraud Stewart.
Yeah, there you go.
Plays the Green and White Lounge.
Oh, I'd be there.
No, but there's only so... Unless you brought in a number of acts. Like, wasn't it the one time, wasn't it when it opened, they had like Bryan Adams, Our Lady Peace?
OLP opened it.
Bryan Adams?
Yes, it was
the two-banger?
It was the test event, and there's another band there. I was out of town. I missed it, even though it was
Dishwalla.
Wow.
And then I remember the old stadium. There was talk of, I don't think this ever came to fruition. Trust me, I've lost a lot of brain cells in the last few years. It was going to be a half show. And ZZ Top, do you remember that?
I remember the rumors of ZZ Top. I
playing half a stadium.
I don't remember hearing it was half a stadium, but I do remember obviously the Stones and the Bon Jovis and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yo. Do I got that Bon Jovi concert? Absolute blur. Only lasted because who opened? Was it no? Who did Kid Rock open up for?
I think it was
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, it wasn't the Stones enough.
No, and then the other big one at the old one, which again, you can't drink too much and go to a really good concert because then you never remember it. And I kick myself to this day because I do not remember much at all. And I remember I had a BlackBerry phone. I have some recordings of this concert on my BlackBerry phone. Paul McCartney.
McCartney and
Paul McCartney played Regina, Taylor Field. And I don't remember. What a loser I am. Oh, and I'm like, I hated the Beatles until I got a little bit older. And now I'm just like yesterday we had Glenn Suter on, who's in Liverpool, the Cavern Club. I'm like, can't even imagine the history and all that. But okay, quickly, who could sell out Mosaic Stadium? Taylor Swift. Yes.
Easily. Yes.
Garth Brooks, yes, we know.
Been there, done that.
Who's left in the Stones? There's Mick, but I don't think so. They would.
Yeah, they would.
Metallica
could. Honestly, it would have to be a festival. It would have to be those roving festivals that they're doing again, where you get a couple of bands and try to hit a bunch of people all at once.
Would Billy Joel? Depends where he's. I think with Billy depends where else he's playing.
I don't think he would.
If he's not playing Alberta, maybe if he's playing Commonwealth but not playing Winnipeg, I think he would. He's huge.
Yeah.
Madonna?
Not in this day and age.
No?
No.
Material Girl?
I don't think so.
Material World?
I don't think so.
Borderline?
Well, why not just mention Celine while we're at it? Like,
I regret never seeing her in Vegas, just for the historic factor.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head who else is big, like really big. AC/DC.
Those traveling stadium tours are.
I thought you were going to say the Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah, why not?
And Blues Traveler opening up.
There you go.
No, there's a.
The hook always brings them back.
Come on, you guys, you're youngsters. Who do you guys? Well,
who's
Colson.
Who's hipping with it?
Who would sell 30,000 seats? Let's go 30,000. Not Kendrick Lamar.
I would say Eminem.
I could see Eminem in this market. I don't know about Kendrick. I love Kendrick Lamar. Believe me, I was screaming at my at the SportsCage when these two were breaking down the Super Bowl halftime show.
That's just why I said it. Just to
Yeah, no, you're not pushing it. I don't think it was that good. Eminem, hey, Alan?
Oh, yeah, I would think I like rap music, so I would think he would probably do well. I know you like that Super Bowl halftime, so I thought I could win some.
Wow.
I thought I could win some brownie points.
Snoop and Dre, they would never sell it out. That'd be great to go see, though. We'd be fortunate to witness that. Rap acts. Yeah, rap acts. Maybe Eminem would be, but he wouldn't have to. He can't play Winnipeg. He can't play Alberta. And then maybe. And it depends on the ticket price.
But there's no modern rock acts anymore that are big that I like.
Naughty by Nature opens up for him. Maybe a little Public Enemy. Now you got something. Now you got your rap festival.
There you go. See, I told you a festival. You need a traveling festival.
Maestro Fresh West, little CanCon.
Ooh, there you go.
Let's backbone slide. Okay, we got to find out where Scott Schultz is.
We're off the rails.
Allegedly, we're talking about the stadium. And yeah, you brought up a good point, though, that the schedule doesn't lend itself to having a concert this year. Regardless, we'll take a break when we come back. Clutch Performer time. It's a SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. All right, Clutch Performer, keeping it local. I'm going Redvers, a 1-0 win over Moosomin in the Big Six championship final yesterday. Preston Kopech scored the lone goal. A 1-0 win. You don't see a lot of 1-0 hockey games anywhere nowadays. I don't know who was in net for Redvers.
Can I counterpoint?
Hasek, Tretiak. What?
Clutch Performer, the provincial game, Mooseman and
Davidson
and Langenberg. No, the Mooseman was down 2 goals, tied it up with 2 minutes left, and won it with 14 seconds left on the clock.
Yes, I did mention that. I remember that. That was tight. But anyway, for today, from Redvers, Saskatchewan, Preston Kopech, or from the Redvers hockey team anyway, they're going up 2-0 on Moosomin. No one else has one around the horn here. No. Thank you very much to our sponsor, Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Clutch Performer was Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, come on. I said Billy Joel would sell out Mosaic Stadium. I've always thought that. Greatest concert I've ever seen in my life. Billy Joel.
Big fan piano man?
No, I'm more of Moving Out.
Uh-huh.
That Moving Out's my favorite Billy Joel song, followed closely by Allentown. But anyway, Madonna, I think would. Although as we wait for Scott, here's a Madonna story. We were on a little golf trip to New York a few years ago. The Billy Joel concert, Madison Square Garden.
Of course.
Perfect. going Polestar. Who's playing the next night at the Brooklyn Opera House or something? Madonna. I'm like, are you serious? I'm going to play Bethpage Black twice. I'm going to get to see Billy Joel, and then maybe see Madonna. So then I looked up the set list that she's been playing, and I think it was like her second show there, or she's playing weekends. It's New York. There's like stuff going on all the time.
All the time.
And I looked at the set list, and I was like, I don't know any of it. Like, I don't think there was a Material Girl, and they're living, or what's the Like a Prayer wasn't in there, and I'm like, I ain't paying $200 or whatever it was.
Just Ray of Light and Newer, or what?
No, it was like just weird stuff, man. Same with Eddie Vedder. I forget where I was, and Eddie Vedder was playing a concert, and I was like, and I went on. I'm like, there's no Better Man. There's no Pearl Jam songs. And it was just him and a guitar playing like it's like him at the Wash and Slosh in Saskatoon. I'm like, no deal. I don't get it. I was missing something. Glad I never bought tickets. I went, there's a tip. There's a little lesson. Always look at the set lists your artists are playing before you buy tickets. Travis on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 936-6262. I saw a Pink Floyd cover band called the Australian Pink Floyd Show. It was such a good show. But like most cover bands, the singer obviously doesn't sound like the original, but it was still a good show. Kenny Chesney almost always has a summer stadium tour in the U.S. Chesney Stadium tour show is unreal. He's not. Saw him at Gillette with Tim McGraw.
Oh, that'd be a good show.
Saw him at Lucas Oil with Keith Urban, Leanne Rimes, and Luke Bryan. That was like early Luke Bryan. Like just wanted to go. Those shows start at like 4 in the afternoon, and Chesney is like done at like 11:30. Yeah. You have to pace yourself. Ballpark in Arizona too. Miranda Lambert was with them again. Don't remember much of the back. I remember Old Dominion, and then after that, she's kind of wasted money. This is so stupid. I just don't drink. Don't drink at concerts that you want to remember. Like Paul McCartney playing Mosaic Stadium. Tonight in Melville, let's go SJHL report quickly here. Southie Mainline Chrysler, new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan. The Highway 10 Parks Cup. Possibly 9 straight games between these two ice hockey clubs. Yorkton at Melville. Estevan is in Weyburn. Nipawin welcomes Humboldt. You see the standings if you're watching the stream. No, that's the schedule. Battleford's welcoming Kindersley, Flin Flons, and Lorange. Notre Dame's at Melfort. Western Hockey League tonight for Extreme Hockey and Sport in Regina. Pat's off. They play tomorrow against Swift Current under the orange top. Brandon hosts Moose Jaw. Saskatoon at Swift Current. PA's at Red Deer. Huge games, big points in the Eastern Conference with all those teams. And then one other interesting one is Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. Did you know that the there's a golf course open in Lethbridge? Paradise Canyon? Yeah, open this week.
I need to talk. Actually, my parents are still in Mexico, so they couldn't even apprise me of the golf courses opening up in the Lethbridge area. So,
Are your folks live in Lethbridge?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. It was on the Lethbridge Hurricanes site. Golf course open. I know Medicine Hat always opens, obviously, before anything here, and there's always the Hardos, the Eager Beavers, and they're like, we're loading. 4 of us are going to play Medicine Hat this week, and it's like...
We're going to play Cottonwood Coulee, or what?
Desert Bloom.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Medicine Hat Country Club.
That's a good one.
I like Connaught. I like to bang it around Connaught. It's the old Muni. But yeah, I was like, whoa. That's aggressive in Lethbridge. I don't know if they got this weather. Because looking out there right now, it's kind of came a fake spring last week.
I loved waking up this morning to half a centimeter of ice on my windshield. That was a great surprise this morning when I went to go to work.
How about furnace giving out last night? Thank God it was only -2 this morning. Yeah. Wife's Mrs. S. Well, a little cold in here. said, yeah, well, you turn the fan on for starters. It's not, July, but whatever. And then I'm like, I got to get a hoodie on here and get the kids to school. Cold. Go look at the thermostat. We're down to 63. I'm like, well, okay, furnace is done. Boy sleeps in the basement. Hey, was it cold down there last night? It's like, very. So luckily I had a guy come in. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, shout out. Fixed her up. Yeah, so weather, I was just actually pulling this up. I don't know what the roads are like. Yesterday they were bad. Damon messaged in that Highway 11. I think she's cleared up now. Right now in Regina, we're sitting -8. You gotta love this one. -8 feels like -18.
Woof.
This is windy. It's going to be a chillier weekend than we're used to. Tonight goes down to -9, overnight -16. We wake up in the morning, feels like -17 feels like -26. Right on. Jeez. Fake spring. Gets you every time. Breaking news out of the NFL. New England Patriots fans, we are not getting Cooper Kupp. He is signing with the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Sam Darnold, in Seattle, Cooper Kupp. I don't know why they were so adamant in getting rid of him. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs that much. He's expensive.
Yeah, I think that's why. He wasn't worth the price tag, but then they went and got Devontae Adams. So I guess Puka's the guy going forward, and you're going to have Devontae there also as your deep ball guy.
Yeah.
Do I like Kupp in Seattle? I don't know. Seattle's in a full transition mode now.
We'll take a quick hey. We're waiting for Schultz. He must be he's in the valley. He must have connection issues, but we'll get back and we're going to go Prairie Junior Hockey League, Junior B. We're going to talk to one of the shooters from the Regina Extreme Hockey Capitals, Jack Bechard, right here on the SportsCage. Welcome back to the all-new SportsCage. We've been talking about it. It's the Bill Johnston South Division, some of you might call it the Prairie Junior Hockey League. The final starts tomorrow night in the Fort Knox and the Capitals, 7:30 puck drop tomorrow. All right, joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Extreme Hockey, Regina Capitals forward, Jack Bechard, getting set to take on Fort Knox in the league final. All right, Jack. First off, I asked this to Madden from Fort Knox yesterday. Was it kind of nice to have the week off and get things maybe healed up before you guys fire up tomorrow?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like to have the week off and be able to have our 2 practices or whatever it was it was huge. So we could heal up and get ready for Saturday. What's
it like for the Caps right now? What makes this team tick? As a guy that's been there a couple of years now, when is this team rolling?
Honestly, it's always when it comes playoffs and we have our fans at the El Richie. That's when we know that we have to play our best. And with the Capitals, it's always a family team. So going out with the team and stuff, going out for food before practice or whatever, that's a big thing for us.
Right on. Who are some of the guys, along with yourself, obviously one of the leading scorers in the team, but maybe the guys on this team could be the leaders, the older guys that have really stepped up this year and kind of carrying things?
Sean Brochu, he got traded to us at the trade deadline. He's a 20-year-old, and he's definitely one of the bigger leaders now, a part of the team, keeping us focused in for their games and stuff.
Any young guys you want to give a shout-out to, guys that maybe stepped up?
Yeah, for sure. Owen Fraser, I think Jeremy was saying this the week before the Storm series. Owen Fraser, rookie, he's done really good in the playoffs, and he's battling for his top 6 forward spot still.
Right on. Things a lot of times in playoffs, the team can have an off night, but a lot of times a goalie can bail a team out. How's it been in between the pipes this year for the Caps and in the playoffs?
The playoffs, I was really surprised by our goaltending and how they stood up and played in. Drew Parema didn't play against the Storm all year, and he went in and won 2 games, and then our rookie Lucas Stadnik won the other 2. Played really well as a rookie in playoffs.
Right on. Okay, so Fort Knox, they were the top team in the Billy Johnson division this year. What's the game plan? What? Obviously, they're a good team. They're not surprising anybody. They're supposed to be here. When you guys break things down against Fort Knox, what do you guys got to do?
I mean, if you do look at it, they had 9 losses and 3 of them were against us. So I don't want to be cocky or anything, but my 2 years with the Capitals, we have kind of had their number, and we beat them in playoffs last year. So they have good goaltending, and we'll just probably beat down on one of my buddies, Madden Wallace, on their team.
Do you guys do you foresee it being a long series then?
100%. I could definitely see it go to 7.
You talked about the Richie, and you guys bring it back here. I think it's Monday night. There as well, though, right? Playing in the Fort. What's it like? A lot of times guys, get up when you're playing inside a visitor barn and they're chirping you and they're right on top of you. You guys going to feed off that?
100%. I love when the crowd's always rooting against us. It makes the scoring a lot more fun. So it'll be awesome.
All right. Well, best of luck. I predict. I'm thinking this is going to be a long series. All the best out there, and go give her.
Yeah, thank you.
Still more to come on the Sports Cage. We'll run down everything going on locally and around the province tonight. When we come back, it is the Sports Cage, the home of sports in Saskatchewan, streaming at sportscage.com on X and on the mighty 620 CKRM. Schultz is busy. I'm going to get him back here right away, or an hour 3. Hey, kids are in provincial hockey. You know what that's like. I forgot my skates. I forgot something. My stick. Sharpen my skates. Got to get all that. Greg from Piffles Podcast joining me today. Fridays for Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Again, if you want to go watch the Regina Pats and Swift Current Broncos on March 18th, which is Tuesday, we have 2 tickets to that game. It's Farmer Appreciation Night. These tickets are courtesy of the Canada's Farm Show, which is on next week here in the Queen City, and also Thunderstruck Ag Equipment. The beauty about this is there's a pre-game party, tailgate if you want, and Hell and Back, an AC/DC cover band, is performing. So you get in to watch the hockey game, you get in to watch Hell and Back, your favorite AC/DC songs, before that game.
I think they're playing Thunderstruck?
I think Thunderstruck will be on the bill.
You think it's on the playlist?
It's the closer for sure. I got to close
it's the opener. It's the opener.
No, Hell's Bells would be a good opener. Do not play any AC/DC like Maz wanted us to the other day, and then we got banned on Twitter for the day. Play the bagpipes. Yeah. Cooked. No. Thunderstruck is the close. Come on, Greg.
You got to be careful with the music on Twitter. My account got shut down for a 15-second Spice Girls clip once.
Whoa. Buried the lead. You got shut down for a Spice Girl song?
Yeah. Simone Lawrence posted a video of him dancing, so I put the Spice Girls over top of it. And yeah, the old Universal Music Company had my account shut down for illegal use of their music.
Oh, I thought you were like a Spice Girls fan.
Who's not a Spice Girls fan? Come on. They would sell at Mosaic.
Guaranteed they wouldn't. No, I think.
Oh, you're going to make Alex mad again.
Alex, come on. There's no way the Spice Girls are sell. The Spice Girls would sell out.
Wash and Slosh?
Definitely Casino Show Lounge. Probably also Connexus Art Center. Wash and Slosh, yes. Bring it back. More of a cover band spot, though, as Scotty from Saskatoon texted in. Prairie Line Rentals text line 936-6262. Yeah. We got into it an hour ago or so. What bands would sell out Mosaic Stadium? Greg pointed out that there is no breaks in the rider schedule this year that would be fitting for a major concert to roll in and roll out. Because you need That 2 week.
Easily 2 weeks, yeah. Basically, game off, they're setting up the next day.
I heard a story that when Bryan Adams, again, allegedly, played here, that he was doing his sound check and he saw all the porta potties way in the back. And he said, I'm not standing up here and playing and then looking at a bunch of porta potties, so we need those covered up. And then they had to go and get, I don't know, probably fencing and then that felt that goes on it and cover it up.
Probably, yeah.
That's high maintenance. There's also been stories at Country Thunder that certain artists needed a limo to drive them right up to the stairs backstage.
So I mentioned Sawyer Brown before. My favorite Country Thunder's thing. Country Thunder was supposed to play the kickoff party in the beer gardens on the Thursday night.
Yeah.
So me and my buddies get there early. We want to get, and I'm not even paying attention to the stage. And I think they were supposed to go on at 9, and we were there at like 7. And I'm like, "Here, a Sawyer Brown song." I'm like, "Well, that's kind of weird that the opening band is playing a Sawyer Brown song." Next song, Sawyer Brown song. Turn around, it's Sawyer Brown. They wanted to get out of there. They play. We're going on now. We don't go on at all.
Really?
Yeah. So then people showed up to see Sawyer Brown at 9 o'clock at night. They were already done their set and gone.
What year was this?
Oh God, that would have been like 2009, maybe 2010.
So they just pieced out.
Yep, played their set and left.
At the beer gardens.
Yeah, either we go on now, we don't go on at all.
Oh, what did they? Do you remember what they opened with?
Because I didn't realize they were playing, so
Race is On has got to be the closer.
Races. They definitely played when I realized the Race is On. Thank God for You was played. Boys Like Me.
Cafe Down on the Corner. That's a good Sawyer Brown. Sawyer Brown's got some real good ones. They're a high energy band. I don't know. Have they been back since? Maybe that's why if they haven't.
I don't know.
We're going to play the beer gardens and then we're leaving. Man, that's weird. How that would go down. Okay, locally tonight, if you're going to watch hockey in Saskatoon, Pat C's Blazers game 2, AAA midget semifinal. Swift and Moose Jaw, they start tonight. That's game 1 at the Temple Gardens Center in Moose Jaw. Western Hockey League games for Extreme Hockey and Sport in Regina. Pat's home to Swift tomorrow, so the night off, but some huge points on the line in the Eastern Conference because Brandon is in Moose Jaw. No, Brandon hosts Moose Jaw, sorry. Don't drive to Moose Jaw expecting a WHL game tonight. You can go watch the AAA play. Saskatoon is at Swift Current. That's the trip. Saskatoon came here. Then they drove through your hometown or around your hometown in Moosomin. They went to Brandon. Mm-hmm. Then they came back here, and then they're in Swift tonight. Then they go home. Awful. I'm sure they didn't want that. That's what they, they're tired. They've been putting on a lot of, not that that's what they do in the Western Hockey League, but tough swing. And then Prince Albert's and Red Deer. Big points for the Raiders there. Big points for Red Deer as they try to win everything and need Swift to lose everything to get into the playoffs. Senior Loop, Senior Hockey Reports coming up in hour 3, but we'll tee up the Nauticue tonight. Final, Assiniboia is up 1-0. They're in Yellowgrass, 8 p.m. puck drop there. Shout out last night, Lumsden 5-2 over Raymore. Take a 1-game lead in the QVHL final. Redvers, they're up 2-0 over Moosomin as Preston Kopik scored the lone goal in a 1-0 win. Prairie Men's, Ituna. Just imagine that the concession, it's humming right now. Pierogi's down, Kubasa down. They're getting ready in Ituna for game 2. Q-Par's in there. 8 p.m. puck drop. That's the Prairie Men's League. Kyle, Saskatchewan, they can knock off the Kenniston Blizzard, the defending Provincial A champs, tonight, if you're in that Kyle area. Moosomin, Davidson, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Wilkie, Foam Lake, 5 p.m. Sunday. Some senior games for you there. What's the biggest... Here's a question we had on the news. Largest 50-50 you've ever seen at a senior game?
A senior game? A couple of G's. Like, yeah. I haven't been to a game in a long time though. Did you
hear Lumsden and Brown Lake tomorrow? All the tickets, Lumsden 1,250. They all sold out less than 24 hours. Oh. None available. Get this, so people, none available at the door tomorrow. going to be electric. They've 50-50 at Ochapowace. Last week was over $7,000. And that one, when Round Lake Balcarres played, it was over $6,000.
Yeah.
Then we started talking about major 50-50s because seven's up there. I think I've heard of a 9 before. And then I was talking to a guy in Rosetown when they had their run. $17,000 was the take home one night in a provincial senior game. That's absolutely off the charts. Rider news today. They signed Nebraska defensive back Phelan Sanford. Had a little shot with the Raiders last year. He was an undrafted free agent, played in the preseason. It says he has a knack for being with the ball as he recovered a blocked punt, ran 42 yards in a preseason game against Minnesota on August 10th, and then recovered a second fumble against San Francisco on August 23rd. Spent 4 collegiate seasons at Nebraska. He was a walk-on in 2019. So we talked about this. He's a grinder.
Oh, that's exactly what we talked about. This guy earned everything he's gotten so far.
Nothing given to him.
No.
So he was a walk-on, and then before playing college at Nebraska, he was a freshman at Hastings College, where he was
The sprinter.
track and field star. High jump.
I jump. Oh, sorry. I thought he was a sprinter.
I'm sure he tried out for the sprint.
No, probably.
Sprints as well. Yeah, so this guy's an absolute grinder. Rider signing, bringing him into camp. Defensive back, Phelan Sanford. How are we doing for time, Coulson? 90 seconds. What have we missed? We get tickets, 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line if you want to go to the Pats game, and the tailgate party coming up Tuesday, March 18th. Hard to believe Canada's Farm Show starts already next week. Prairie Land Rentals since 1986 for big and small jobs. Stop in. You get to deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Not quite. We don't need snow blowers yet today. Snow's still coming down, but it's cold out there and windy. If you missed the forecast, heads up tomorrow morning. If you put the winter jacket away, you might want it back because it says in the morning we got a minus 17. Feels like minus 26. If you're out on the roads too, give us a heads up if any of the roads are bad. We can pass it on to people. I know yesterday the old Hanley-Kenniston road, or in between Hanley and Kenniston, was bad. So we'll pass that on to people. Hour 3, we're coming back with the senior hockey report. If you missed the Jamal Morrow interview, we're going to have that. And then Dave Thomas catches up with Connor Klassen. He's an offensive lineman with the University of Regina from Big River, Saskatchewan. He's getting ready for the Combine next week. It's the SportsCage. We're streaming at sportscage.com, on X, and of course on the mighty 620 CKRM. Hour 3 of the SportsCage. Barney, Shynkaruk, Greg McCulloch from the Piffles Podcast, Coulson and the Sheriff Allen. Still got tickets to give away. In Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. If you want to go to the tailgate party with AC/DC cover band Hellenbach, and then the Pats and Swift Current game Tuesday, 936-6262. Says the pregame event starts at 4 p.m. You were, I totally caught me off guard. Saskatchewan Rush are playing right now.
Out in Halifax on the East Coast. Yeah, they're down 9-2 after the first.
Oh,
not a good Eastern swing for them right now.
yeah. So I wonder how many guys are from the East Coast that just would have been easier to get to Halifax than it is sometimes to get to Saskatoon. Yeah, it's a long way. I forgot about the time change. I'm like, what are they playing, an afternoon game? The other thing, the World Women's Curling Championship opens up in South Korea. Canada plays Lithuania. That's tonight at 11 p.m. If you're curling hardo, you're staying up and watching that. Canada, Lithuania. And then you might as well stay up, grab some Western pizza, and watch Canada versus Scotland at 4 a.m. We'll be keeping you updated on the World Women's. Rachel Homan's rink. She good at curling.
Oh, that rink is just ridiculously good.
Is the whole rink good? I'm not
all 4 of them are good. Like,
are they?
Oh yeah, Emma Miskew,
I know.
and Homan. All of them are Fleury. They're all good.
Sean Germain, Homan's husband, former senior hockey weapon. I think he coaches junior hockey in Alberta.
Yep.
Remember at the Olympics, and he was like two-fisting beers to take the nerve off. Yeah, he's absolute beauty. Ties to Saskatchewan there. Okay, so let's go back to Scott Schultz won't be able to join us today. He's dealing with some work stuff, and of course, provincial hockey always trumps in on anything, even the SportsCage. And his kids are in action in Lumsden tonight. Alex is his name.
Alex, yep.
Alex. He's been texting us.
Texting me.
Because the recent one, I said Billy Joel would sell out Mosaic Stadium.
He agrees.
I think Madonna would definitely sell out Mosaic Stadium.
I think he agrees with that one as well. I was the one that probably made him mad on that one.
Then we went into this because you got banned for some sort of Spice Girls copywritten music.
Yep.
So then you said they would sell out Mosaic Stadium. And I say, no way, Jose.
And as my other co-host Steve pointed out, a Spice Girl cover band sells out the show lounge every
Yes, that I can see. We're comparing the show lounge and a cover band with 35,000 seats.
A Spice Girl reunion for every kid in the 90s. Are you kidding me?
Oh, what would I take instead? 90s. Live's
good.
There's no way. I think they played Connexus a few years ago. They were unreal. Come on, 93662. If you're anywhere you hung out in the 90s, did you have your first alcoholic beverage in the 90s? You know what we're talking about. There is no way that the Spice Girls would sell out Mosaic Stadium.
Oasis?
Oh man, I think those guys are overrated. You're gonna get text messages on that one too. Absolutely think I'd like, 4 or 5 of their songs. Think they're overrated. I remember my brother-in-law was trying to rally the troops to go see them over in Europe when they announced that they're coming back.
Yep.
Is that still a thing? What are the Gallagher brothers?
Yeah, I don't think they've gotten a fist fight recently, so they might still be together.
Yeah, they're a weird duo. And I was like, if I'm going across the pond to see a concert, it definitely is an Oasis. No, I'll go see a Beatles cover band at the Cavern Club before Oasis. 90s. How big were the Spice Girls in the 90s? Alan, maybe like what record sales wise? Look at this. If you're watching the stream, wouldn't you that would be an unreal place to see a concert?
That'd be a great place to see a concert.
Glenn Suter was there yesterday. The Cavern Club in Liverpool talked about that. Yeah. Let's circle back to 2 episodes ago of the Piffles podcast. You guys had Luke on.
Yep.
First time you've had Luke on?
First time, actually. We thought we had him before, but yeah, we went back to the archives. It's been 10 years. We forget things.
How was it?
Awesome.
Let's get people to go download and listen to it. Give us the highlights.
Actually, we asked a very pointed question, asking why Gary Etcheverry did the things he did, and Luke, as good as he is, broke it down and made it make sense. And he was honest and funny, and he was Luke. And then of course his takes on potlucks. Those ads. That's when he started getting spicy. You don't bring buns.
No, what was the other one? I didn't think buns were.
Buns were part of it. Buns.
The seafood dip.
He didn't mention seafood.
Pineapple on pizza.
But we got spicy with pineapple on pizza.
Did he swear?
No, actually he didn't. But actually, Steve blew his mind by telling him to put pineapple in his chili.
That's actually not a bad play. That might give a little sweet. With
apparently,
the heat.
If you do it, after Steve said that, a few other people chimed in saying, "Yeah, once you do it, you'll never go back."
Pineapple and chili, eh? No, he's a beauty. He does break things down. Makes him make sense. He's so passionate.
Well, actually, this past year at the Regina Thunder dinner, we had Luke as the host, and he had AJ there, and they were breaking down plays on the board in real time. So instead of your standard fireside chat, they were breaking down plays, and it was awesome as a football fan, just watching two guys talk shop and actually show what they were doing.
We forgot about this band that would sell out Mosaic. Text just came in. You too.
They would.
Absolutely.
It'd be a beautiful day.
Ding ding. Get the bell ready, boys. Yeah, no. So you can go and listen to that episode of Luke, Piffles Podcast, guys. It was 2 episodes ago. Then what was the last one? Just the fellas?
It's just the three of us.
Alex talking about Spice Girls.
No, we weren't talking Spice Girls. We talked. We broke down where we thought the Riders should go with this year's draft and where Canadian depth was.
Where do you think they should go?
Best athlete available. Their depth is really good this year. There's no real needs. Maybe you stick to the trenches, O-line, D-line. And yeah, that's where we basically ended up. But yeah,
best athlete available.
Best athlete available.
Smart teams usually do that.
And actually, we think if you got a guy looking at the NFL like they did last year with Hergel, take him. Because right now you don't have any immediate holes to fill. So give a guy some time to develop.
Okay, let's have some fun here.
Oh, God.
Stunning best of the decade includes chart topping. Okay, so I looked up some of the top selling bands of the 90s.
Okay.
Spice Girls does not show up on my initial list.
Oh, okay. How deep are we going?
Nirvana, they cannot play Mosaic Stadium.
No, they cannot. No.
No. Wouldn't be possible.
Foo Fighters might be able to, though.
See, that's one that when there was rumors of them coming here, I know a lot of people that were cuckoo over that one. Would I go? Depends on the ticket price. I don't mind them. They're high energy. They seem like to be really good. But I know people that have traveled to see them. And then if that's your thing, that's great. Green Day?
I love me my Green Day.
I don't think they'd sell at Mosaic. Brand Center. Alice in Chains? Not possible.
Nope.
REM. Man, I forgot about those guys. What's Your Frequency? Kenneth. What was that song? God, it was a weird song. It's good, though. But Metallica, we talked about them. Yes, they would. Pearl Jam.
Would.
Foo Fighters is on the list. Smashing Pumpkins. No. Too weird.
And not in their current formation, too, because they're still fighting with each other, last I heard.
Creed. They're playing Rogers this summer because they're doing their reunion tour. I think they're touring with someone pretty good from the 90s too. In some of the, I don't know if it's Bush or somebody popular. Creed and who? Alan. Creed is touring with.
If it's Bush, could you tell the difference if they switched?
Bush X.
Yeah.
Nobody? Okay. Glycerine. Beastie Boys, not possible.
Not possible.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, again, it's very popular, but a select group. Guns N' Roses. Alan.
Creed and Nickelback announced for summer 2025.
Yes, Nickelback. Wow, I was way off with Bush.
I'll put Nickelback. Those guys would sell out. I don't know.
Yeah, the right ticket price.
What was it? The reputation that they're overrated is kind of. They did the Netflix thing. I think it's popular to say you're a Nickelback fan again.
Exactly. It's come back around.
It's come back around.
Like, yes. Alanis Morissette. She's doing a residency in Vegas. She was huge in the 90s. I don't think she would sell out Mosaic, though. We should have had Alex in today.
I still stand by. It is very hard to find any band that would sell out Mosaic. It would have to be a generational talent act that would have to do it. That's your Stones, your McCartneys, your Elton Johns, your whatever.
AC/DC. Metallica.
Yeah.
And again, are they playing Alberta? Are they playing Manitoba? Because if it's like when the Stones came and it's like the one-off, or when McCartney came, well, now you're bringing people from everywhere.
Well, exactly.
And then the other little thing too. Well, it's kind of sucks on our end because you're paying in American funds, so right away you're behind the gun, and your revenue is obviously all in Canadian. But you make a lot of money. I'm not saying this right. You got a lot of American people coming up to see these concerts, like Country Thunder. Think about if you're an American and you can come up to Country Thunder in the Valley and for 200 and change Canadian, see all those acts. We convert that into American. Like that is cover charge at some bars.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a deal. Oh, here we go. Text line. Hey, Barney, my 2 cents. Spice Girls would 100% sell out Mosaic Stadium. Trina from Alberta. Come on. No, they wouldn't. 35,000 people in our province where people dance naked in produce aisles are paying, they're going to see the Spice Girls. No. Come on. What am I doing? Bring NWA with 2 live crew opening. Kevin Hart can fill in for Eazy-E. That's a good text message. Text message. Hey, Barney, big game up in Saskatoon tonight. Patsy's Blazers, Rod Ham, boots on the ground. It's going to be a great game on the west side. 7:30 puck drop. We said that. I was wrong. I thought there was a hotel block discounted at the Confed Inn for Pat Canadian fans going up. I was wrong. Don't call the Confed Inn looking for rooms. It's actually the Westgate.
Good tip.
Paul's listening for the full 3, except he missed the first hour and we talked about Phelan Sanford. Liverpool Airport renamed John Lennon Airport. Is that a joke or is that true? Is the Liverpool Airport renamed John? Why would you just single out him? Weren't they all from Liverpool?
Because it's so busy, they said, imagine all the people.
Jeez. Oh, you're on fire with those today. Absolutely on fire. 3 Doors Down.
No.
They would not. They are so good live. Saw them at SaskTel Center in Saskatoon, and I want to say this was a dark period of my life. There was like that one year. I want to say it was 2005, and it was 3/4 empty, quarter full, and they were so good though. You don't like? I like three.
Oh no, it's not that I don't like 3 Doors Down. I just don't think they would do it. Like I still stand by. You put like a 3 Doors Down, a Creed. Like you get like the festival.
Dishwalla.
Dishwalla. What is your obsession with Dishwalla?
They're just so obscure that they just came out of nowhere. Oh, what was that? Well, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Who sang Closing Time?
Semisonic.
Okay, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. There's another one I'm coming up. Daughtry, Big Wreck, Nickelback. Just some stadium dates with Creed. Okay, we're getting people in on this now. People are smart. And then Cupar Ituna tonight. Yes, we know. We just talked about the Ituna concession canteen is probably buzzing right now. Pierogies are down.
Liverpool's airport was renamed after John Lennon in 2001.
I'd be pissed off if I was the widow of George Harrison. Ringo passed on? Ringo passed on, didn't he? But Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney. Do you think he remembers playing Mosaic State or Taylor Field? If you sat down with him.
Should get Glenn to ask him. Oh, he's there.
Glenn.
Ringo is 84.
Yeah.
Ringo's 84. Yeah. Oof. They singled out one of the Beatles. Named the airport. If you're going to Melville this evening, we got the Highway 10 Parks Cup. Possible 9 straight games between these two. Yorkton at Melville tomorrow. They regroup, wash some clothes. They go do it in Yorkton. You can go watch that one. SJHL reports for Southie Main Line, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan always. Weyburn is going to play host to Estevan. Nipawin welcomes Humboldt. Kindersley's in the Battlefords. Flin Flon making the trek into LA. And Melfort, Northern Lights Palace, smelling like chlorine as Notre Dame is in town. Western Hockey League tonight, the Pats, they are not in action. They're home to Swift Current tomorrow, but the Eastern Conference, things will change possibly tonight. Brandon's in hosting Moose Jaw. Saskatoon at Swift, PA at Red Deer. Another tidy one, Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. We just mentioned the AAA tomorrow, PJHL. We heard from Jack Bechard from the Regina Capitals earlier. Fort Capel. Recplex in there, 7:30. That game goes. And tonight, Provincial A in Kyle. Keniston's in town. Shout out Yellowgrass, 8 p.m. Assiniboia is there in the Nauticue. Assiniboia is up 1-0. Quick rundown of everything. We got a break, you're telling me, Alan? Okay, no more music talk. We're going to pick this up the next time Greg is in. Stay tuned. Senior Hockey Report. Mind you, we recorded this. I'm going to say we recorded this so the audio just, it's great though. Great information. All 4 Nooner guys are in. Then we're going to go to Connor Klassen, Dave Thomas, University of Regina player, going to the Combine from Big River. And then if there's time, also in this hour, we're going to rerun Jamal Morrow. If you missed that. It's a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on X.
All right, Senior Hockey Report, Sports Cage. It's the Monday Nooner guys with us again. And let's go around the horn. There's lots going on. Starting provincials tomorrow. Oh, it's game 2 in Lumsden. It's the Monarchs and Round Lake. All the tickets sold in less than 24 hours. Brandon, you were at the game in Ochap. What was that one like?
Good game, competitive game. Monarchs got a couple bounces they took advantage of. Brandon Holtby, shout out to him. Shout out for Lumsden. He could be the difference for them getting over the hump this year. But yeah, good game. And like all the other senior series, it just depends who shows up on any given weekend. So curious to see who shows up for both sides. Game 2.
Might want to try. I don't know how you're going to get tickets, but there might be some walk-ups. Lumsden will be packed tomorrow night. Other provincials, Davidson going to be playing Moosomin, Millsy.
They had a little conflict of interest on setting the game, and Davidson was open to travel down there for game 1 this weekend. Moosomin said they couldn't get ice and couldn't find whatever, so they had to go to Hockey Sask, and they are now decided they are playing Sunday afternoon, and Moosomin is traveling to Davidson Sunday afternoon for game 1. So it'll be a good series, I think, in that little 5. What did you call it at the start? $5.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the betting lines on that series. And then quickly, Millsy, just run down what in the South for C&D.
There is, the other provincial A action, just while we go Friday night here tonight, is Keniston is in Kyle. Kyle leads that one 1-0. Kyle's goalie, Mr. Richard Palmer, stood on his head on game 1 last Sunday night. 56 saves, 55, 57 saves. They got outshot 50-something to low 20s. But Kyle pulls out a 2-1 win on the road. So they go back tonight in Kyle for game 2. And Keniston's looking to even that series up and take it back to Keniston for game 3, which will be Monday night. And that's your other A series. And then provincial D action, Edam was all over Delisle last weekend in game 1. They go tonight, 8 o'clock in Delisle. So that'll be interesting to see what happens in that one as well.
All right. Nauticue Hockey League belts, are they done yet?
No, it's still buzzing. The games are very spread out there. So like we talked about last week at the Cage, Assiniboia is up 1 rip on the Wheat Kings, and they fire tomorrow for game 2. So have a few more results next week.
All right. Big 6. We got Redvers and Moosomin, eh, Brandon?
That's right. Both teams still provincial battles as well. So they're mixing in the league games kind of throughout the week as they can. Tuesday, Thursday action. Redvers won game 1 on Tuesday, and we recorded this a little early, so don't have a result for game 2, which happened on Thursday night, but more action next week in Redvers and Moosomin if you're out that way and want to watch some puck.
In the Long Lake, Drake, surprising game 1 win. We talked about that. 8 seconds left, scored against Foam Lake, leading 1-0 there. Senior Hockey Report, Monday Nooner, guys. It's a quick read. You go listen to the Monday Nooner podcast. Get the weekly top 10. There was a record-breaking rain at the top in that. That's the tease, Monday Nooner. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcast.
Thanks to the Monday Nooner guys and the Senior Hockey Report. Thanks to Future Ford in Melville, Saskatchewan. The future is Ford. Go online. Check out new and units online there, and as well as CoolBet. You want to wagering, playing for fun, coolbet.co. Get the senior hockey line. It's always kind of fun to check those out as well. Big weekend for senior hockey in Saskatchewan. Should be interesting to recap. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to hear from one of the local footballers getting ready for the Combine next week in Regina. It's offensive lineman from the University of Regina. From the town of Big River, Saskatchewan, Dave Thomas is going to sit down with Connor Klassen. It's SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com, on X, and on the home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Our countdown to the Canadian Football League Combine continues. We're pleased to be joined by offensive lineman from the University of Regina Rams, Connor Klassen. And Connor, let's jump right in. Thanks so much for doing this. What does it mean when you hear, we're counting down to the Canadian Football League Combine with you?
Thanks a lot for having me. It's really exciting. It's been a long 2-3 months of putting in the hard work in the gym, on the turf. It's going to be really awesome to finally have the chance to showcase my skill set and kind of compare or show teams what I can do against the best competition in the country.
I've asked before if this offseason seems like it's been shorter or maybe the same length as others trying to get prepared for this, and I guess be at the pinnacle of your physical ability come the end of March.
Yeah, it's for me, it's been a fun off season, definitely with the combine specific training, but I think just the anticipation of the event has made it kind of take forever. It's definitely seemed like one of the longest off seasons I've had, but it's been also difficult with trying to prepare for the combine and prioritize that, but also stay on top of my school, stay ahead of that, and still be connected with the Rams team. So it's been awesome, but it's definitely been a long off season so far.
You're listed as 6'3", 310 pounds as of last season, and again, you could clearly see from my vantage point what you were doing well on the field. What do you think others saw in you?
I think a big thing for me is consistency. I've played 2 seasons for the Rams now at right tackle, and I feel, and my coaches feel, that I'm consistently, doing the right things with mentally. My assignments are always sound. The guys I'm blocking are hardly ever making the play. And then I think another thing that stands out for me, that when I think of my own game, is just my athleticism as an offensive lineman. I'm maybe not the most powerful out there, but I could definitely, I move really well, I feel, and I think, I can make a lot of hard blocks where you need to be a little bit more quick or athletic to do so. So that's kind of what I would say. Again, every team, every scout, everybody's going to see something a little bit different, so it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Playing tackle along the offensive line, I've heard, has been described as being on an island, which can be tough physically, but also, you mentioned it, tough mentally as well. What are the challenges that you've been able to overcome in playing that position at a high level?
I think it started when when I was a younger player, and I transitioned from defensive line to offensive line, and then I just kind of, I don't think I ever had any bad habits developed, so it was always kind of, everything I did as a tackle was kind of, that's the first time, and all the stuff my coaches taught me was new to me. And then again, once you play for a certain amount of years, you kind of, if you get beat by a certain move, you recognize that. So for me, the last couple of years, the biggest thing is when I line up and I know I'm, on an island, I can look at how the defensive lineman is lined up, where his feet are, how much of an angle he is, how tight or how wide is he off me, and all those kind of play into how I think he's going to rush me, and that's kind of can determine the way I pass that. So do I set a little bit tighter to him? Do I get more depth? So just some things you learn as you play the position for a long time. But definitely has improved in my my mental aspect of it in the last couple of years.
Connor Klassen, how does a kid from Big River, Saskatchewan, decide that, hey, I want to play football, end up with the Regina Thunder program, then make his way to the University of Regina before now getting basically a job interview for the Canadian Football League?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it boils down to a couple things. One, I made the decision that I wanted to continue football after high school. After I realized I was too big to play hockey, so that's kind of when I decided that was the direction I wanted to go in. And like the biggest thing from a personal standpoint, I think, has just been hard work and dedication. Like it's kind of a overused answer, but I didn't really have any. I didn't ever play offensive line. I didn't have any technique coming out of high school, so just being determined to get better and prove that I could play at a higher level. I think, and then just putting in that hard work throughout my career, that's helped me a lot. And then I think the biggest thing is just in the people around me. Like my family's been very supportive. I've had some incredible coaches with the Thunder and the Rams. Their Thunder took a chance on me, and they were able to develop me to kind of where I was at when I came to the Rams. So yeah, it's definitely you can work as hard as you want, but if you don't have a good support system around you and you don't have that coaching staff around you, you're only going to get so far. So I owe a lot to a lot of different people.
I read a book by a Major League Baseball scout that once said that experience helps mold the athlete. Last year, you had a heck of an experience winning a Canada West Championship, of course, going and playing in the Cup game. It didn't go the way you wanted, but did that experience make you a better player?
Yeah, so, that was it's not the first time, unfortunately, I've been part of a big loss like that. When I was on the Thunder, we lost in the Canadian Bowl final. And kind of what I learned from that is, you take two things away from it. One, as a player, a part of a team that makes it this far, like you should have that confidence in yourself and in your team that, we can go back, I could go back, I could play at this high level, and my team could play at this high level in the following years. So there's a lot of good things you could take from that. And then obviously, it sucks to lose a game like that. All the hard work and all the time you've spent, kind of comes to an end in not the way you want. But you kind of get a little chip on your shoulder, and nothing's guaranteed in sports and life. So just because we made it there last year doesn't necessarily mean we'll make it this year. But what we can do is we could keep putting in the hard work, have that chip on our shoulder, and trust each other, trust our systems, and kind of execute at a higher level next year. So definitely a game like that, you get more confident in yourself as a player, and you just kind of all the things that happen, you just kind of go into that next season wanting to prove yourself to your team, to the league. So most definitely.
Connor Klassen, our CFL countdown to the Combine is on. With it approaching fast, can you tell me when you look at it right now in your off season, have you approached it any differently, wanting to hit your peak come the end of March as opposed to maybe that last week of August when a regular season would kick off in Canada West football?
Yeah, so it definitely seems this off season that it's been a lot more thrown at me, and we're trying to get to that best we can be a lot faster. However, we have a really good strength and conditioning coach here at the U of R. Jace is really good. He's developed a program for us that it follows a very similar kind of outline to what the team does, but it's just like in areas like the bench press or just maybe like explosiveness. We're able to hit it a lot faster. It's more refined. So I think it's different, but it's very similar because like the workouts we're doing, the training we're doing is very similar to what we did in the past. Just a little bit more refined around the edges to kind of fit to what the Combine's asking of us.
Sometimes, Connor, when you're talking with an offensive lineman, they're just happy if you don't mention their name and they go unnoticed. That's obviously not the goal at the Canadian Football League Combine. What do you want to do to get noticed?
I think the Combine, the National Combines, it's difficult because you want to perform well on the Combine tests, but you have two full days of practice. So I think for me, I want to test well in all the events on Friday, but at the end of the day, I am a football player, and I think I could probably show my best teams on those Saturday and Sunday practices. So that comes down to winning my one-on-ones, having good, inside run and team periods, and just showing the coaches, I think, I'm very coachable and hardworking. But yeah, like, you want to do well in everything. But, I say, like, from my standpoint, the football side of things, that's how you can tell if a player is a player. But obviously, it'll be nice if I could put up like a five flat 40, but guess we'll see.
My 40 time is forever, so we'll just leave that there. But before I do let you go, I do have one more question to ask when it comes to the interviews that you may be subjected to. I don't know if that's the right terminology or not, but an opportunity to meet with personnel from all 9 CFL teams. Is that something that you're looking forward to? Does that make you nervous?
If you would ask me this in December, I probably would have told you that I was really nervous, but in the beginning of January, I had an opportunity to go down to Texas to what's called the College of Iron Showcase, and I met with, I think, 5 or 6 CFL teams already. So I've had a little bit of experience with that, and my agents, kind of prepared me for kind of the kind of questions they're going to ask, what they kind of want to see from you in terms of, how you respond, how you act. So I think, there'll always be a little bit of nervousness when you're meeting with a pro team, with some, like, pro coaches, pro GMs, but I feel confident going in with a little bit of experience, kind of having those expectations of what they're going to kind of ask me. So.
Well, Connor, I really appreciate you taking some time and doing this with us. We wish you all the best in the Combine and, of course, moving forward in Regina with the Rams and Thunder.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.